It's my understanding that we'd like to activate the rug and kind of allow them to tune in to it. You have any thoughts before we move into that?
Because you're astute and you know how to use this, I think the idea of your experience, your legitimate, authentic experience of whatever you're experiencing will give people an idea of what is possible.
Yeah.
You know, you have cultivated yourself over time. And what is available to everyone, but it may be that you work with it to get where you're going to be going.
It's a nice disclaimer. You see what she did there?
Yes.
Okay.
Welcome to Call for the Truth. I am LaOta of the Sun, and this is Tarvars of the Sun. Today we'll be talking about the Of the Sun Insignias, which you may have seen on our website. But before we begin, Tarvars, will you bring us into the Call for Truth?
Well, certainly. And we encourage you all to join us in this call for the truth. Shall we call forth the frequency of truth? Shall we call to see the truth in all that we see? Shall we call to hear the truth in all that we hear? Shall we call to speak the truth, calling forth the courage to speak the truth? Shall we call forth nothing less than the truth to come forward into our experience? Now that we are in the frequency of truth, I want to send a gentle reminder, if you're tuning in with us, riding this wave of truth, click that like, subscribe, and that little bell notification to stay within this path. So we're talking about the insignias.
Yes.
The power tools. Would you give us a little bit of background on what are these? Because I know they look beautiful, they're gorgeous, but some people, they have no idea what they mean. So what's a good foundational start about, where do these come from, first off?
Can they see one now?
No, but what we'll do is our camera lady, post-production, somewhere like it. We'll have post-production put it in.
So the insignias that we use at Of the Sun are actually crop circles that we were able to view, and then we rendered them, gave them color, and spoke to the intelligence and the consciousness of the crop circle. And we now refer to them as insignias because they are the insignias for bodies of knowledge and intelligence and consciousness. And they exist in nature as a communication from the natural world, which is Mother Earth, and all of those mystical, magical, sacreds, and others that are part of that experience, to humanity, which is part of the purpose of what goes on in the multidimensional world with the crops, is a communication to humans. So the beings who work with the crops are busy putting in the color, the antiscience. They're putting in the minerals and the nutrients to work with our bodies as part of the greater body of Mother Earth. And it is their duty, one of the many things they do, is to communicate with us. So they're communicating to us with the blueberries. They're communicating to us through the crops, and they also use the crops as a form of communication to us because it's a worldwide stage. And it happens all over the world, every place and every time. And they started being recorded, I think, in the 1600s. And the first recorded story that I have been able to find that was written about them called them fairy circles because that's what they are. They are made by the fairy kingdom and other mystical creatures.
So humanity had a reference, understanding.
Yes.
This isn't just off-world beings, it's terrestrial, but dimensionally tangential.
Yes, actually, many people think that people get in spaceships from other planets and travel thousands of miles, hundreds of thousands of years and through time and light to draw something in the crops. That's
geometric graffiti in crops.
It's unlikely.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it never did happen, but we have the spirits who are responsible for the crops, living in the crops with the intelligence, whose part of their bandwidth of consciousness is to communicate with us as they already communicate with us through our food.
I'd like to note that there is actual video footage of someone capturing these orbs of light in a crop field. And as they're rotating, you see the crops flatten, and then the orbs disappear, and the crop circle is just there within seconds. So it's not a lot of live caught in action evidence, but there is something available, and maybe we'll punch that in for you all to see. But
we'll certainly be looking for it for the class.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll certainly look for it. There's a lot of research on it, and the amazing way in which the nodules on the plants are laid down, and how the crops are produced more, how people walk in the fields and have miraculous recoveries.
Yeah, and that's another thing, the healing that takes place literally from being in the field, and it's measurable. There's a ton of accounts, so sounds like a wealth of inspiration to produce it into something that's more tangible, where we don't have to fly to England or wherever this is happening.
The reality is that there is healing in every aspect of nature. You know, the mother is the medicine, but it is our love that ignites and activates it. I have been intrigued for a long time by this idea of crop circles, and my connection is one where I'm in honor and reverence to it. And because of that, more is revealed. But as it works, we have worked with over 24 different insignias for a long time in varying levels of protection and healing, and a variety of other ways in which they serve us. And what we do is we are in gratitude, which is the currency, how we pay for that experience. So we want to share these with the ones who are not familiar with them, because it is available. In righteousness, it is available. Everything should serve us, and we should serve everything. So it is something that is, I know you have some next to you. There's an opportunity to engage with the consciousness of whichever insignia, what it represents. So every insignia represents something different. If you've been on our website, you see the image of a woman, and in yellow, and it's a black background, and she's holding a ball above her head. And this is an ancient, ancient symbol. I found that symbol in a crop. So even though we have seen it, it was actually a literal crop circle the size of a football field, speaking to the idea of the divine feminine. So that is the representation of what that insignia is. So often this is something that when people are interested in igniting the divine feminine, I often encourage them every day to sit on the insignia, or to put their hand on the insignia, to engage with that, because the law applies to all things. What you call for is what you get. If you call for communion with the divine feminine relentlessly and with reverence and respect, it will come to you.
Yes, and my understanding from what you've taught is we simply ask the technology, because this is a form of technology, to activate and engage, and that makes the field of intelligence available to us.
We're going to talk more about that in class, and as to how to best do that. But essentially, yes. Essentially, once you are in the state of mind of receiving, once you elevate yourself from the regular third dimensional consciousness and allow the ego to move aside, then you become receptive to what can come to you. And that may take a little practice. That part might take a little practice.
So there's layers of experience that can be had with these.
Yes, and it depends on where you are. You know, where you are can get you to where you want to go. Or you can get yourself from where you are to where you can get the bus to take you where you want to go.
In our live, we just had the card pull was to know where you want to go. You need to know the truth of where you are now.
Yeah.
It's a reoccurring theme.
Yes, it is. It's very much the case. It what the mindset and the mentality and the emotional stability you bring into the equation does affect what's on the other side of the equal sign. So we have several insignias. We have one that your feet are on right now, which is the Ancestry, which is an amazing geometric design. We really love that you're here talking about this because you're all about sacred geometry. The crop circles are a two-dimensional representation of ideas that are actually three-dimensional, four-dimensional, and five-dimensional. So we are representing them on a 2D surface, but it is our intention to bring them to the public in a third-dimensional representation soon. Also, where you could see it online in that way. So if you can imagine whatever you see, it standing up in a three-dimensional, like the geometric dome.
Yeah, so the geometry, from my understanding, what you're sharing, instead of flat, it has instead of just an XY, it also has a Z axis.
Yes.
So consider, this is what my experience is usually like, which I'm going to ride the rug in a few moments, but I'm enveloped within the geometry. I can see myself 360 degrees within it. It's a field and things happen. So it's my understanding that we'd like to activate the rug and kind of allow them to tune in to it. Do you have any thoughts before we move into that?
Because you're astute and you know how to use this, I think the idea of your experience, your legitimate, authentic experience of whatever you're experiencing will give people an idea of what is possible.
Yeah.
You have cultivated yourself over time, and what is available to everyone, but it may be that you work with it to get where you're going to be going.
It's a nice disclaimer. You see what she did there?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and test this out. Okay, I'm going to begin by activating the rug. I can feel the field of the insignia enveloping me and feel myself contained within the geometry. I feel myself raising up vibrationally and my body physically responding. I can feel the intelligence of my ancestors, and I can feel their support moving through my body. There's a part of me wondering, is it the chicken or the egg? Is it the rug? Is it the ancestors? But I can feel the energy moving through the lower body, the legs, and into the root. I feel somewhat of a centering happening. It's like all in this area where the center of gravity is, and like a positioning and fortifying taking place. I'm going to move in just a little deeper into the experience. They're communicating some personal things that I'm not going to go into. But I can hear the voice of my ancestors, and there's this verbalization of, or the concept of what's being conveyed is this idea of support, and I feel their support, and I feel like something has been lifted and my shoulders have dropped. And again, without going into too much detail, they are advising me that they're always present in to continue to walk with them. My light column is completely lit up, or my spinal column, so to say. Again, signifying the support. And I think I'm done writing because I could stay on here. This would
Yes,
continue
thank
on.
you. That opened up many possibilities for all of us to understand what can happen, especially with the ancestors. So many people are confused about why are they here, what they should be doing. This could be a solution. When you take the hand of your ancestral aspect, that is still your DNA, there's greater clarity. It's not so much about whether you need to work for a corporation. It's not so much about whether you need to do one thing or another, because you can do many things. It's what do you embody in everything. So this is a solution that we want to bring forward and make available for others, whether it's the divine feminine, whether it's the ancestry, the laws and principles of creation, the Platonic solids of air, earth, water, and fire, or any of the aspects, the mysticals, the magicals, the sacreds, and the others, any of the aspects of creation that are not a part of our daily experience, that do not give us the stability so that we're not walking around like, what am I supposed to do? Why am I here? Which is what has been done to us has left us in that condition.
If you're a conscious investor looking to make a difference, you need to hear about Aluka Gold. Because doing good and doing well isn't just a dream, it's our promise. Let's face it, everyone wants their money to work harder. But what if your gold investment could do double duty? Aluka Gold is more than just precious metal. We're committed to ethical sourcing and total transparency, so you know exactly where your gold comes from and who it helps. Every ounce you invest helps support real miners and their communities with humanitarian projects and fair wages. That's not just good business, it's good for the world. You get solid, physical gold, plus the pride of knowing your investment brings hope and opportunity to families who need it most. So why settle for ordinary returns when you can spark extraordinary change? Invest with purpose. Invest with Aluka Gold. Do good, do well, and let your gold investment shine brighter than ever.
So this is stability. Would you agree?
I think my experience spoke loudly about stability.
Yeah.
The biology experienced it. I had it emotionally and mentally. So on all levels.
And the experience for you, you've done this before, but
I worked with them this morning,
Yeah.
but
So-
here we are round 2. And I didn't know that this would have been the focal point, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, well, and it makes it even better because you got more, but every time you engage, you get more.
Yeah.
So just knowing that this consciousness, especially the ancestors who have always been available to us, but because of the disconnection in our DNA, we have not always been able to be receptive to their communication to us. As you do more practices, as you move into higher frequencies, when you get your DNA collected, you are more in the frequency of receiving. It is not that they are not there broadcasting, it's that there's a lot of static on the radio dial.
Yeah.
So this is wonderful. You feel like you have really mellowed out.
Because I have.
Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Yeah, just the idea that the insignias are available in a variety of different forms. It clearly was on the 3-foot rug. And then we also have them available as laminated cards, which also contains the information for the activation, several activations, and a communication of the consciousness from the consciousness of the intelligence of the crop circle insignia. So as you can see, there are a variety of them. And just a small handful, as LaOta mentioned, there's over 20 insignias that are available, all doing a variety of different things. We also have them available in 50 by 60 inch fleece blankets, so you can bundle yourself up, or I have been experiencing just laying it out on the floor. The other night I had the Inlakesh and I just laid the Inlakesh out, and because I got two, I wrapped myself in one. And it's quite the experience. So it's larger space, and it does matter when you have a larger insignia. It's indicative of the field that becomes available as well.
And it's very interesting. These are also, I spoke earlier on another podcast about allies. These are the Of the Sun allies. These are the ones that you can invite into your experience, into your home, into your backpack, into your desk. These are the allies. You can call upon them for assistance in times of need or to help everything continue to go well. These offer a variety of different things, but they all offer a level of protection and intelligence and support in service of humanity and of the sun. So that is one of the many benefits. We hope that you'll join the Insignia class that's upcoming. I think it's next Tuesday.
It's
Tuesdays away.
Yeah, so the second week of May, beginning on a Tuesday. So we'll have the dates and the links in the description below for you to sign up. And yeah, if you want to get like me, you see where I'm at.
I know.
Just
blissed right out.
when we finish, I'm gonna excuse myself and continue this experience. But
you are encouraged to acquire one of the insignias for the class, so that when you come to class, you'll have one to work with. But if you don't get one before, we'll have one afterwards. So will you pull a card for us?
Most certainly. So I'll be asking, as usual, the cards to share with us the truth that is best for us to understand regarding today's topic of working with the insignias, working with Of the Sun allies.
And the card is?
The card is the theme elevation, and it's purple, crown chakra. And the maxim reads, when you call for the highest possible vibration, you are really calling for an algorithm that disrupts fear. It is an algorithm in the universe that pulls fear apart.
Yes. Thank you. We thank you for joining us. We hope we'll see you again in Lakesh and Veritas with honor, respect, and gratitude.